Parshat Lech Lecha. And although everything is still pretty bad in this country, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a feeling of happiness yesterday when Trump won. And I saw all those memes or jokes about Lech Lecha being addressed to Kamala Harris. Bye, off you go, Lech Lecha. So that's cute. No, I wasn't really invested one way or the other because I'm in Israel and it's just so obvious to me that Hashem is running the world and Hashem obviously is going to make whatever happens be good for the Jews. So it just didn't make a difference to me. But yeah, it kind of felt like a little hug from Hashem. So I hope everybody's happy. I hope everybody's okay and good. So this week's Parsha, Lech Lecha, is talking to Abraham and it's telling him it's time for you to leave your family, your birthplace, your father's home, your country, and get out of that culture that you've been in, and it's time for you to move on. El haaretz asher ar'eka, to the land that I will show you. And most commentaries point out that this is really, sorry, I'm outside at a coffee shop. I decided that I need to be outside a little bit instead of just doing it all inside at night and when there's not good lighting and there's not good reception. But instead, I'm stuck here where there's a lot of noise. So, sorry about that. Most commentaries say, El haaretz asher ar'eka. It's amazing that Abraham just got up and started walking without knowing where he was going. And Hashem said, don't worry, I'll show you. Where you see, you'll figure it out already. I'll show you where to go, I'll tell you where to stop, and that'll be the country that I'm sending you to. But Netivot Shalom says something very nice. He says, El haaretz asher ar'eka. It doesn't mean the country that I will show you, but rather the country that I will be seen by you. I will show you myself. And I think that is very clear to us. Everybody who's living in this country is living in a place where we see Hashem on a regular basis. And it's almost like seeing Hashem. It's not as much believing as it is seeing. Like we actually see Hashem. And as much as things are difficult and hard and, sometimes it seems crazy, but it's very clear to us that Hashem is running the show. And Netivot Shalom also brings down the Midrash that actually everybody, brings it down on this pasuk. Lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladetecha u'mibeit avicha. Leave this country. The Midrash brings on that pasuk that Abraham was walking from place to place. He was kind of like a wandering Jew, and he couldn't really find himself, or he couldn't really figure out what he was supposed to do. And he sees Nira Doleket, and he walks by a palace that was all lit up or on fire. Okay, this palace was on fire, and Abraham said, "Could it be that there is a palace that doesn't have a master? Like, why isn't anybody putting out the fire?" And then the master of the palace peeked out at him and waved and said, "Here I am, I'm good. I'm in charge of this palace. I know what I'm doing, this mansion, whatever it was." And this is the pasuk that is this is the midrash that is used to describe what's going on with Abraham and Hashem. And basically, Abraham is going from place to place, or the Jewish people are wandering from place to place. And it just seems like the world is on fire. Things are not clear, not understanding why things are happening. And it's like, hello, all these nations are against us. We are having the worst time, and we are your chosen people. We're your kids, Hashem. What's going on? Could it be that there is no master? That there is nobody that can put out the fire? And then Hashem peeks out or chooses Abraham or says, "Oh, hi, Abraham, you're looking for me? I will show you my particular supervision, my divine intervention, my connection, have a relationship with you in my life, in your life, and you will understand that I am the master of this universe, and I am doing the fire, and I will put it out when I see fit." And that's the introduction to Abraham going to Eretz Yisrael. And really, Eretz Yisrael is the country, he says, where there is such hashgacha, there is such supervision that it's like a whole different level of supervision. There's like that connection between the Jewish people and Hashem, which does not exist in other places. And that's why there's another Gemara that says, Kol hadar bechul, anybody who lives in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel, domeh kemi she'en lo Eloka, is like somebody who does not have a God. V'kol mi shadar be'eretz Yisrael, domeh kemi sheyesh lo Eloka. And anybody who lives in Eretz Israel, it's as if he does have a God. Now, it's as if he does actually have a God, but it's saying if you live in Eretz Israel, even if you don't believe in God, even if you're not religious, you are a person who has God in his life. There's no way out of it, and you hear it. You hear it all the time. People who are not religious, people who have gone through tragedies, who have gone through very terrible things, are able to get out of their view and their terrible pain, and they're able to say, Be'ezrat Hashem, things will get better. Or we see that there was a nace in one way or another. We see that Hashem was involved. There is a chesed here. We see some kind of kindness of Hashem in one way or another. So it's basically like, it's a whole different level of emunah that we have in Israel. He also brings down the idea that the pasuk, it's in the pasuk in Devarim, it's not in this parsha, but it says, Eretz asher einei Hashem Elokecha ba, mirishit hashana ve'ad acharit hashana. Israel is the only place where Hashem's eyes are on it all the time, from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. And he says there's this concept, there's a few different levels of hashgacha pratit. There's like, let's say, hashgacha pratit means like divine intervention or supervision, pratit, like individual supervision. So there's this level of Rosh Hashanah, where you come in Rosh Hashanah and basically you've got your whole life dictated for you. Like that whole year is determined on Rosh Hashanah. And then you have the whole rest of the year where you're basically living out the decisions that were made on Rosh Hashanah. And Hashem is not going to jump in to save you from a specific decree or change anything unless you really deserve it. Like, unless you really deserve a miracle, Hashem will, step in and save you like Superman. That's outside of Israel. But he says, in Eretz Yisrael, no matter what, you're on the level of Rosh Hashanah all year round. Hashem can change your decree, can constantly look at what you're doing and see this particular growth that you're going through and decides, okay, this is not going to work for you right now, even though I decreed that on Rosh Hashanah. It's like a very flexible, very connected relationship that we have with Hashem. And he says, outside of Eretz Yisrael, you really don't have that kind of attention and supervision from Hashem. However, if you are doing something for Israel, or if you're coming to Israel to visit, or if you're raising money for some project for Israel, or if you are planning something that will be helpful to Israel, and you're thinking all the time in your head, okay, this has to happen for Israel's good, then you do experience that divine, very close individual supervision, which is, I think, what happened with Trump. I mean, it wasn't a real miracle, but it really was a different kind of landslide than what was predicted. All the predictions were like, it was basically going to be a tie, and then probably, there would be back and forth about certain specific cities, but across the board, every single city gave Trump the head, gave Trump the upper hand. So it seems like because he is good for Israel, whatever it is, he's not a person I would want to have at my Shabbat table. Let's just put it mildly. This is not a person that we like, but to the extent that he is good for Israel, Hashem is going to make things go smoothly and go well for him. And so I think that's what we saw yesterday. And for all of us here, those of you who are in America, plan to come to Israel and support Israel. Because to the extent that you are connected to Eretz Yisrael, you are going to have that same individual attention and supervision from Hashem. And of course, plan to come on my February trip, February 10th to 17th. Just give myself a little plug. I'm allowed. And just sign up and come, because thank God it's really filling up, Baruch Hashem. And we have to come to Israel. We have to invest in Israel. We have to, if possible, buy a place in Israel. If not possible, send your money over here, okay, and support businesses in Israel, because you are connected much more closely to Hashem. You have individual supervision, you have individual attention. Hashem is constantly with a back and forth with you, like, oh, you did this? Okay, this is what I'm going to do now. Oh, you're connecting to me, you're trying to come closer to me, I'm going to give you blessing. So that is really what is going on here. And he says basically that Eretz Yisrael is the neshama. Haneshama shel kol ha'olam hi Eretz Yisrael. It's the soul of the world. Just like we have a soul that's giving us life force and that's keeping us alive, and as soon as our neshama leaves our body, it's over. So too, this world, shehu makom hashra'at hashchina, has a soul, and that soul is Israel, and that's where we really feel the divine presence, and that is giving life force to the whole rest of the world. So to the extent that we're closer to Eretz Yisrael, to the neshama, that we are enforcing it, that we are strengthening it, that we are connecting to it, to that extent we will experience more life force, more blessing, a channel, and will be a vessel and a channel for Hashem's blessing and abundance. So Halavai, we should all feel that. Those of us who are in Israel, feel it, connect to it, and hopefully see a lot of miracles and blessings very, very soon.